The warehouse was quiet now, but the air was thick with unease. Amara sat at the table, staring at the map spread before her, tracing the routes with her finger. The rain outside had stopped, leaving the streets glistening under the harsh glare of streetlights, like shards of glass threatening to cut at any moment. She couldn't shake the memory of Jayden's cold, calculating eyes. Kai entered, carrying 2 cups of steaming tea. "Drink this. You'll need your focus." Amara cupped the cup with trembling hands. "I'm not sure focus is possible right now," she said quietly, her eyes still fixed on the map. "Every time I think I'm safe, he's there, always one step ahead." Kai sat opposite her, his expression serious but calm. "That's why we plan. Fear is a weapon, Amara. Not for them to wield against you, but for you to understand your limits and use them." She lifted her eyes to him, searching for reassurance. "Limits? I feel like I'm always at mine." "You're stronger than you think. You survived abduction. You ran through the city with people hunting you. And tonight you stood up to Jayden. That's not weakness. That's courage." Her chest tightened at his words, both pride and fear swirling inside her. "But he's still out there, and someone else, someone worse, you said, is tracking me." Kai nodded. "Yes, and we need to anticipate them before they make their move. That's why we study. That's why we prepare. Every detail matters." They leaned over the map together, marking points, tracing patterns, analyzing risks. Kai explained strategies, safe zones, and contingencies. Every minute, Amara absorbed knowledge she had never dreamed of learning, every fact sharpening her mind like a blade. She felt a strange sense of control, a thrill in the midst of fear. Hours passed. The warehouse lights flickered as fatigue settled over her, but Kai's presence was a constant reminder she wasn't alone. Suddenly, Minji's voice came through the comm system, low and urgent. "Movement detected. At least 3 men, near the north entrance. They're approaching cautiously, probably scouts." They found us already?" Kai's jaw tightened. "Yes, but this is why we train, why we prepare. They think they have the advantage, but we've set traps, cameras, and diversions." Amara swallowed, gripping her cup tightly. "What if it's not enough?" Kai leaned forward, eyes intense. "Then we adapt. And right now, adaptation means staying calm, staying aware, and following my lead." The footsteps grew louder outside, faint echoes bouncing off the walls, and shadows flickered across the windows, and Amara's pulse raced. She could feel every beat of her heart in her chest, every nerve alive with tension. Kai whispered, "Stay behind me. Watch and learn. Don't panic. Remember your training." A figure appeared at the window, peering in cautiously. Amara froze. The man's face was obscured by a hood, but his movements were deliberate, predatory. Another appeared beside him, silent and precise. Kai moved first, silent and swift, opening the door just enough to intercept the intruders. Amara followed instinctively, muscles tensed, mind alert. The first man lunged, but she sidestepped, using her weight and momentum to push him off balance. Kai handled the second with precise strikes, disarming him before he could react further. Adrenaline surged through Amara's veins. She struck again, not with strength, but with precision, knocking the first man to the ground. Her breathing was ragged, but she felt alive in a way she hadn't before. Fear was still there, but it was joined now by empowerment. When the confrontation ended, the men retreated, but the message was clear. The hunt wasn't over. Jayden's reach extended further than she had imagined, and whoever was tracking her was relentless. Later, Kai and Amara returned to the table, both exhausted but determined. Amara's hands shook slightly, but she met his eyes. "I did it. I actually did it." Kai nodded, a faint smile breaking through his stern demeanor. "Yes, you did. And you'll do it again. Better each time. That's how you survive. That's how you take control." She leaned back, exhaling slowly. "I feel stronger, but also more terrified. I know they're coming, and I don't know if I can stop them all." "You can," Kai said firmly. Because you're not alone, and you've already proven you can act when it matters most. The bond between them deepened in those quiet moments, a shared understanding that went beyond words. Both had suffered, both had lost, and now both were fighting not just for survival, but for justice. Hours turned into days as they continued their preparation. Amara trained with relentless focus, studying patterns, memorizing faces, and practicing maneuvers with Kai. They moved through simulations of potential ambushes, testing their reflexes and strategies. Each session ended with fatigue, sweat, and quiet satisfaction. One evening, after a long day of preparation, Amara slumped against a wall, exhausted. I can't believe how much I've learned in just a few days. I feel ready, but I also feel like it's not enough. Kai crouched beside her, placing a steady hand on her shoulder. It will never feel enough. That's why we keep training, keep planning. But the truth is, you're ready. Ready enough to face them, to fight back, to take control of your life. Her eyes filled with tears, not just from fear, but from relief and a strange new confidence. I don't want to be scared anymore. You won't, Kai said, not completely, but you will learn to use that fear, to turn it into strength. And that's more powerful than courage alone. The night stretched on, and as the city slept under the heavy clouds, a faint beep from the sensors alerted them to movement. Amara's pulse quickened. Kai's eyes narrowed as he scanned the monitors. They're closer, I can feel it. And they're not testing us. They're planning their attack. Soon. Amara took a deep breath, steadying herself. Then let them come. I'm not running. Not anymore. Kai placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Good, because the real fight begins now. The night air was thick with tension as Amara and Kai slipped silently through the back streets of the city. Every shadow seemed alive, every distant noise a potential threat. Amara's heart hammered in her chest. But unlike before, it wasn't only fear, it was anticipation, a mix of adrenaline and determination. She had trained, she had learned, and now it was time to put it all into action. Kai glanced at her, eyes sharp in the dim light. Remember everything we've practiced. Focus on patterns, not panic. Stay aware. Don't let them control your mind. Amara nodded, gripping the strap of her small bag. I won't. I'm ready. You're ready to survive, Kai corrected, his tone firm. But survival is just the first step. Tonight, we take back control. They approached the designated meeting point, a seemingly abandoned warehouse near the docks. From their vantage point, Amara could see faint silhouettes moving inside. 2, then 3, then more. Men in black, armed, methodical. Jayden's influence was clear. These weren't amateurs. Kai signaled for them to crouch behind a stack of crates. We can't take them all head on. It's a trap if we do. We'll divide and conquer. Minji will create a diversion at the east side. You and I handle the others. Stay sharp. Amara's heart quickened. And if we fail, she whispered. Kai's eyes locked onto hers, unwavering. We won't. Trust your training. Trust yourself. Trust me. The plan moved with tense precision. Minji's diversion came first, a sudden spark, smoke, and the faint sound of shattering glass. Shouts echoed from the east entrance, and several men rushed toward the disturbance. Kai signaled Amara forward, their movements synchronized, almost instinctual. They moved like shadows, silent and calculated. Amara's heart pounded, but her mind was razor sharp, recalling every lesson, every strategy. The first guard appeared, stepping carelessly near a stack of crates. Amara ducked, using her momentum to sweep his legs. He fell with a grunt, stunned, giving Kai the opening to incapacitate the second. Good, keep moving, Kai murmured. They advanced further, dodging debris, using the environment to their advantage.
Amara struck with precision, not brute force, but enough to disrupt and confuse. Each encounter was a test of skill and nerve, every success a surge of confidence. Then, Jayden appeared at the far side of the room, flanked by two men. His presence alone was enough to freeze the air. Amara's heart skyrocketed, but she didn't flinch. This was the confrontation she had been preparing for, the moment that would define whether she remained a victim or became a force. Jayden's voice was low, taunting. "I knew you'd come. Brave, foolish, and still so young. Did you really think you could hide forever?" Amara's jaw set. "I'm not hiding, and I'm not afraid of you anymore." He laughed, a hollow, cruel sound. "We'll see about that." Kai stepped in front of her, protective, but his eyes never left Jayden's. "Stay back. Don't underestimate her. She's stronger than you think." Jayden smirked. "Stronger? She's still a child to me." Amara's hands clenched. No longer a child, no longer helpless. She lunged at the nearest guard, moving with confidence she had known she possessed. Jayden's men reacted quickly, but Amara's training allowed her to anticipate their moves. She blocked, dodged, and countered, turning their aggression against them. Kai moved with precision beside her, disarming, incapacitating, and clearing a path. They were in perfect sync, a deadly, efficient unit. Amara felt a fierce satisfaction when she realized she could fight, she could survive, and she could win. Jayden's eyes narrowed, realizing she was no longer the terrified girl he had underestimated. He advanced, more cautious now. "Impressive," he said, voice low and dangerous. "But this isn't over." Amara's chest heaved, sweat dripping down her temples, but she stood firm. "It is for tonight. You'll have to do better than that." A brief, tense silence followed, only broken by the distant echoes of the city. Jayden signaled his men, and they retreated with a final glare, disappearing into the shadows. The immediate threat had passed, but the message was clear. They were far from safe. Kai approached Amara, placing a steadying hand on her shoulder. "You did well. Better than I expected." Her chest rose and fell rapidly. I can't believe I did it. I fought back." "You did more than fight back," Kai said softly. "You claimed your strength. Remember this feeling. It's proof that fear doesn't have to control you." Amara's gaze softened. "I feel alive, but also terrified. I know they'll come again." Kai nodded. "Yes, they will. But each time you'll be stronger, smarter, faster, and we'll face them together."
Back at the safe house, the adrenaline faded slowly, replaced by exhaustion. Amara sat on the couch, running a hand over her bruised arm. "I don't know if I could have done this before. I would have frozen, or screamed, or I don't know." Kai joined her, sitting beside her silently. "You had no choice before. Now you do. And you chose to fight. That's the difference." She looked at him, tears welling in her eyes. "Thank you for believing in me, even when I didn't believe in myself." Kai's expression softened. "You don't need my belief anymore. You have your own now. That's what matters." They sat in silence for a moment, the weight of the night settling around them. And yet, beneath the exhaustion, there was a spark of hope. They had survived. They had fought. And they had learned that together they could face almost anything. But the danger was far from over. Outside the city, hidden eyes monitored every move, every whisper of activity. Jayden's retreat was temporary. He was already planning his next strike, his patience infinite, his cruelty unwavering. Amara's whispered words broke the quiet. "I won't run anymore. Not ever." Kai nodded, a faint smile tugging at his lips. Good, because the fight is far from over, and we're just getting started. If you're loving the events as it unfolds on Amara and Kai's journey, like, subscribe, and comment below with what you think will happen next. The danger is escalating, and the next chapter will push them to their limits. The warehouse was eerily silent after the last ambush. Rain-slicked streets reflected the faint glow of neon lights, creating a surreal, almost dreamlike cityscape. Amara and Kai stood side by side, bruised, exhausted, but alert. Every sound made them tense. Every shadow could be a threat. Amara's hands trembled slightly as she adjusted her bag. "Do you think they're done for tonight?" she asked quietly, her voice still shaky from adrenaline. Kai shook his head, eyes scanning the perimeter. No, they'll regroup. They're persistent, patient, and dangerous. But tonight, we made our mark. We showed them we're not easy prey anymore. She nodded slowly, taking a deep breath. I feel different, stronger somehow. I'm not just surviving. I'm fighting. Kai's gaze softened. And that's the truth. You've come far, Amara, farther than you realize. Fear will always exist, but now it fuels you instead of controlling you. Their quiet moment was interrupted by Minji's voice over the comms system. New activity. Someone's inside the dockyard, Jayden and his team. They're moving fast. This could be the final attempt tonight. Amara's heart jumped. Final attempt? Are we ready for that? Kai's jaw tightened. We have to be. This is it. Stay close, focus, trust your instincts, and remember everything you've learned. The dockyard was a maze of shipping containers, crates, and shadows. Kai led the way, moving with quiet precision, while Amara followed closely, muscles coiled and ready. The distant echo of footsteps and occasional voices reminded them that the enemy was close, always watching, always calculating. Jayden appeared first, stepping into a narrow alley between two containers. His face was grim, eyes cold, and his two men flanked him, weapons drawn. "You're becoming bold," he said, voice low and menacing. "But boldness won't save you." Amara's pulse surged. "Neither will fear," she whispered under her breath. Kai's stance was protective, but he gave her a subtle nod. "You're ready." The confrontation erupted instantly. Amara moved first, sidestepping a swing from one of the men, using her momentum to push him off balance. Kai intercepted the other, disarming him in a blur of practiced precision. Jayden advanced, eyes locked on Amara, calculating her every move. "You're stronger than I expected," he said, voice laced with frustration. "But strength alone won't win this." Amara's heart pounded, but she refused to back down. "Strength isn't all I have," she replied. Her movements were fluid, precise, and confident. Every strike and block was a testament to hours of training, preparation, and sheer determination. Kai moved alongside her, protective, yet allowing her to act independently. Together, they formed a seamless team, each move anticipating the next, exploiting weaknesses, and turning the enemy's aggression against them. The fight intensified, shadows moving like living creatures around them. Jayden's men faltered under the combined force of Kai and Amara. One by one, they were incapacitated, retreating into the darkness. Jayden's eyes narrowed. "You're impressive," he said, voice cold. "But impressive doesn't mean invincible." Amara's chest heaved. "I'm not invincible, but I'm not afraid anymore, and I won't let you hurt anyone else." Kai stepped forward, blocking Jayden's path. "It ends tonight. You won't take her. You won't take anyone else." Jayden snarled, lunging forward, but Amara anticipated his move. Using a combination of agility and strategy, she sidestepped, tripping him slightly, and Kai seized the moment to push him toward the crates. Jayden stumbled, caught off guard, and Minji emerged from behind, effectively cutting off his escape. For a tense moment, everything froze. The rain, the shadows, the faint hum of the city beyond. Then, realizing the odds were against him, Jayden retreated with a final glare, disappearing into the night. Amara sank against a crate, chest heaving, sweat dripping down her face. We
We did it, she whispered, disbelief and relief washing over her. Kai crouched beside her, placing a steadying hand on her shoulder. Yes, tonight we won. But remember, survival isn't just about fighting. It's about learning, growing, and never giving up. And you've done that. Tears welled in Amara's eyes. I feel like a different person, like I can actually live, not just exist. Kai's dark eyes softened, a rare warmth breaking through the usual intensity. You can, and you will. This is just the beginning of your freedom. They stood together, looking out over the rain-soaked dockyard, knowing the threat of Jayden and others still lingered, but also knowing that Amara had changed. She had faced fear, fought back, and survived. Back at the safe house, exhaustion gave way to quiet reflection. Amara sat on the couch, rubbing her sore arms, and Kai handed her a warm cup of tea. You've earned this, he said softly. I couldn't have done it without you, she admitted, voice trembling slightly. Thank you for believing in me when I didn't even believe in myself. Kai's gaze held hers, steady and reassuring. You don't need my belief anymore. You have your own now. That's what matters. And remember, this freedom, you earned it. No one can take it from you. Amara took a deep breath, letting the words sink in. For the first time in months, maybe years, she felt a sense of peace. A fragile, hard-won calm. She knew the fight wasn't entirely over. Jayden would return, the world remained dangerous, and evil never rested. But for now, she had survived, she had grown, and she had discovered the strength she never knew existed. I'm ready, she whispered, almost to herself. Ready to live, ready to fight, ready to be free. Kai smiled faintly, pride and respect mingling in his expression. Good, because freedom isn't given, it's taken, and you've taken yours. If you've been captivated by Amara and Kai's journey and echoes of freedom, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below about what you think will happen next. Their story of courage, survival, and empowerment is just beginning, and you won't want to miss what comes next.